if y'all have been on my channel since at least 2020, y'all know that I ran out of contacts in 2020 because, you know, we couldn't go anywhere. And I did a good few months worth of content where I was swimming in front of my ring light, not a vlog, in blind. Like, I didn't have glasses on at all. I found a trick. My ring light, I have two different like camera stands now, thank God. So my ring light's right here, not directly in front of me. So you can't really even see the reflection. But for those of y'all asking, yes, I am out of contacts again. Yeah. I just got my health insurance from my new job, so now I'm like scrambling to find places that are open on Saturdays. And it's just, yeah. But we found a solution. Solution is here. We're okay. Hey friends, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me talking about some books you can read in one sitting, not graphic novels or short books or anthologies or anything. Full-fledged books that you are capable of reading in one sitting. Because if you're like me, every summer before school would end, I try to read as many books as possible because I knew deep down in my heart that I did not have a shot at reading anything when school started. And to boot, you're always driving somewhere, like, you know, it's Labor Day weekend this coming weekend. People are going to be heading places. There's going to be a lot of driving because everyone's last hurrah for the summer before, you know, the winter sets and it all gets depressing and no one wants to go outside. You're all depressed indoors, stuck with your family for who knows how long until the sun shines on us again. But I have 7 books here that are both range from YA to adult. All of them are contemporary. I tried to find fantasy, but those fantasy bits are just gonna have to be like when I do like my fantasy recs that are like this thin of a book, because in no way, shape, or form are you gonna be able to finish a fantastical book in one sitting. So let's just get into it. These are all again from like YA to like adult, I believe. Yeah, I have a couple of adult novels in here, so let's go. Alright, so I'm gonna start off with a recent read this time around. I literally finished this book a couple days ago and I made the mistake of picking up like a Greek myth retelling right after reading this book, which was not the smartest idea because now my brain is like, wait, switching gears. And it's not going well. But that book is The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa Kay Adams. This is an adult contemporary romance following Gavin, who is a Major League Baseball player. You know, up there, great, everyone knows his face. He has Pinterest boards about him and his butt. But his wife Thea just now filed for divorce. One of the main reasons being that he recently learned that she had been faking her orgasms the entirety of their relationship, among other situations. So his friends throw him into their secret book club where a bunch of other major league major league stars, or I guess like not even baseball, but just like from different sports, are joining this book club where they read romance novels and they try to learn how to better treat women, better treat their people, and, you know, help them finish in bed. This is probably one of my favorites of the year, honestly. It's just a fun book. I had so many problems, because I typically read during my lunches and before bed and, like, you know, the in-betweens of the world is where I get most of my reading done. Now, and I had a really difficult time putting this book down. I wanted to just keep reading, and I knew in my heart of hearts that this was a book that if you just gave me, like, a few hours to sit down and do nothing but read this book, I will have finished the book in less than a day. So I highly recommend it if you are maybe like looking for something fun and lighthearted to wrap your summer up with. If you're on that long road trip with everyone and like everyone's dead asleep and no one's really talking to you, the driver is like dead focused on trying to get to the location on time when the hotel opens up. This is probably a good book because it'll just keep you entertained and you'll be laughing and like maybe tear up a little bit. I didn't tear up because it was too rom-com-y for me to tear up, honestly, but I really enjoyed it and I highly recommend it if you're looking for a quick little read. The letters aren't too big and there's only about 339. And you know, y'all needed a nice little, I mean, this could be fantastical because by no means would ever a man read a romance novel to learn more about women, and by no means would he actually learn something from it. So the next book is another recent read, and that is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This is Ashley Herring Blake's, I believe, debut into the adult sphere. This is an adult romance following Delilah Green, who is contracted to work at her like her stepsister's wedding. Hint, these two do not get along whatsoever, and all Delilah wants to do is do her job with the least amount of effort, get paid, like do it well enough to get paid the amount that she was promised, and then head home. Now she ends up running into Claire Sutherland, who is her stepsister, one of her stepsister's best friends, and the two of them kind of spark this little interesting romance. I swear, for a cat who hates the camera. Clean your patoy, or non-existent patoy, in front of the camera again. You're getting kicked out. But these two kind of spark up a bit of like a forbidden almost romance between the two of them, and it's great. It's so good. I was laughing, I was crying. I felt like, again, this is one of those books that you just have to read an entire day. There's really no way around it. Again, I had a hard time putting this book down during the in-betweens of everything in life, and I just wanted to be able to sit down and read and engulf these entire books. Sherman, you have your own bed. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You leave his bed alone. He needs his own space. You have your own space. Stop it. And it's just a book that I think you would have a fun time reading, like on the beach one day. Maybe you're going on a picnic with your friends and you just want to relax and just lay in the sun and like just have a good time with a book that has a lot more depth to it than you would think. Highly recommend this book. Highly recommend it. I think I will leave any reviews that I have, both in wrap-ups and normal reviews, linked down below for y'all for this. And any written reviews I might have done, so y'all can just soak up on all of the extra little fun. The next book is another romance, and that is Dial A for Aunties by Jesse Q. Sutanto. This is an adult rom-com following young Madeline, who's a photographer in her family's like wedding business. Now her aunties desperately want her to find a boyfriend and get married, all that stuff. So they set her up with someone she doesn't know. They've been pretending to be her on a dating app, and she finally goes on the date. She's like, you know what, fine, I'm gonna go on the date. Homegirl goes on this date and accidentally kills the dude. And then instead of, calling the cops, trying to find something to fix it, she calls her family. Because that's how Asian we are. She calls her family and they're like, okay, we'll get rid of the body, but we have a job to do over like the next day. So they stuff him in one of the cooling fridges and go off to their job. Little did they know that one of those fridges, the ones they stuffed the dead body in, ended up coming with them to the job. And now it's a very I've never seen the movie, but Breakfast at Tiffany's, where they're trying to find a way to keep the body hidden in the most inconspicuous of ways lest they get caught. It's a really fun read. It goes by super quickly, and the romance isn't as prominent as you would think it would be in this book, but the family dynamics and the comedic timing and the unknowingness of it all, or the surprises and the plot twists, all worked out really well, and I really, really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. Again, definitely another beach read, something you'd want to do when you need a good laugh, or maybe a day in where you're doing nothing. Just read it. This video should have been titled Books I Wish I Read in a Day. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. The next book is actually a bit of a very hard paradigm shift. We're going from the cute little romances and the rom-coms to a thriller with The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This is an adult thriller following Theo as he starts to become the therapist for Alicia, who had murdered her husband. And then went silent about it. And there's nothing that we really understand as to why she did it or why she felt the need to shoot her husband 5 times. And it is his job and determined to figure out exactly what happened and why. So he ends up becoming her therapist, and he tries to figure out what happened, how to get her to talking, and what kind of mysterious aspect pushed this woman to kill her husband and then go completely silent. I really enjoyed this. I read this for Trick or Treat-a-thon last year, so I'll leave my vlog up of that book down below. But this is a book that's just perfect to get you in the fall setting. It's creepy, it's spooky, there are twists and turns in there that I think you'll enjoy, and I think that it's just a thriller book that keeps you on your toes a little bit. You want to understand what happened, you want to know what happened, how it happened, and you just want to keep going. I think it's a perfect book to transition into the fall time right when September hits, and just get in the creepy feels and the fall feels and all of them in betweens. The next book is another paradigm shift over, and that is You Asked for Perfect by Laura Silverman. This is a YA contemporary novel following young Ariel Stone, Ariel Stone, who is like a perfect student, gets great grades, everything. And now he's starting to struggle with balancing school life, just all those things in between, but also still trying to be perfect for his family, his friends, and himself. I read this in like, I think 2 days. I read this in 2 days, but I wish I had read it in 1. There are so many things about this book that I really enjoyed. It's an easy to flow book. A lot of the growth is like character based, but it's not boring or slow, or you're kind of struggling with it a little bit. It's very much like, it flows really well. It's not fast paced, but it's not slow paced either. It's just like a nice like medium point, and you really do kind of find yourself rooting for Ariel to kind of figure out his life and get it all together, and you want him to be safe and happy and secure. And I think it's a really like nice paced book, and just like a nice book to ease yourself back into the school of things and remind yourself to take things just a little bit slow. And again, it's super a quick read. Like, the writing is pretty big. Like you can kind of see it pretty well on the screen right now, and it's only, I think, like 100 or so pages. It's only 267. It's only 259. So really, realistically, again, like another beach read, another read that maybe you read just to like get yourself in the zone for school if you'd like, or maybe you just need a reminder to like take it slow this year. Highly recommend it. The next book is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is an adult contemporary romance. I would not heavy in the romance, but heavy in the romance, following young Lily, who just moved to Boston, is starting a new flower shop, and just as she's starting to get her bearings, she gets in a relationship with Ryle Kincaid. And typically Ryle doesn't want a relationship. He's like, oh, it's not my thing, I don't want it, go away. But once they finally kind of give in and they start getting in the beats of the relationship and the beats of their how they're supposed to do things, Lily's first love and kind of like tragic love, Atlas, is back in the picture, and now she has to balance these two things, but also balancing a bit more of a difficult scenario that's going on with Ryle. This book is a book you can't break up into multiple parts and try to read in between, because it just goes by so fast and so quickly. The way it engulfs you in like what it's going on, and like the frame of this book just demands for you to have to sit down and read it. This is a very heavy book. I will leave my review, my vlog, and then any trigger warnings for this book down below, because I forgot again. But I do highly recommend it. It's a book if you're looking for a hard-hitting contemporary that maybe makes you hopeful of life in general and makes you hope for the best in people. I highly recommend this book. I think it's not a fun read, it's a very hard read, but it's a very good book to read in one day. I've seen a lot of people on like the YouTubes and the talks of Tick stating that they've read this book in one day, so it is definitely doable. But if you are just like a little bit hesitant about the trigger warnings that are in this book, which I will leave linked down below for you, I swear I'll get better trigger warnings, you guys, I promise. I used to be really good about them, and then now I'm just forgetting because I'm depressed. Not a reason, but justify, but not like a pass, but like a reason. I highly recommend it. I think it's just a good book to read in one day. And the last book is All My Range by Sabaa Tahir. This is a YA contemporary following 3 perspectives: Misbah, who had just fled her hometown after a tragic family incident; Sal, who is her son and is trying to, fast forward, Sal, who is now her son, who is trying to figure out his life as his mother, his failing health, is now taking a toll on him and his family; and Noor, who is Sal's best friend, whom she hasn't spoken to due to a falling out, and she's just trying to find a way to get out of the town and go to college, but her uncle won't let her. This book is the same thing as It Ends With Us. It's very hard-hitting. It'll definitely hit you in the feels, but again, I think it's just one of these books that demands to be read in one sitting. There's no way, shape, or form that you start this book and can easily put it down. Like, I read The Ark and I had such a hard time putting it down and trying to like really think about not picking it back up again, and I felt icky putting it down, because it's just a book that demands to be read in one sitting, in one go, and it just demands all of your attention and need for you to figure out what happens to Misbah. Does she have a happy ending, or figure out what happens to Sal and Noor as they try to navigate these very difficult times in their own personal lives, as well as trying to figure out the relationship with each other. It's just a book that, like I said, demands to be read. It demands to be read in one sitting. It's not something you should probably read on a car ride or a plane ride or on the beach, but it's something that maybe like it's a stormy night or something. I don't know where you live if y'all get storms, but it's just something that demands to be read. And I think if you're ready to just be in your feels and really just feel these character struggles and all of their hope and their futures and everything, I highly recommend this book. It's such a good book. And like I wish I had the time to read this book in one sitting when I got it. It's such a good book, and I cannot wait to see what else other hard-hitting contemporary Saba can come up with, because that was just mwah. But that is it for the books you can read in one day, and books I wish I had the time to read in one day, because like the way I would have been sobbing and laughing with all of these books. But if you guys like these videos and want me to do more, let me know in the comments down below. If you have read these books and are like, glad we have the same taste, also let me know. Or if I've inspired you, or if I inspired you to read any of these books at all, also let me know. And let me know your thoughts when you're done. Y'all can find me on all my social media. So yeah, but until next time, hope you guys are staying safe, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.